Hey, how's it going? I'm Sommelier Leslie Miller, and I am here tonight with the Washington Trade Tasting. And AmuséeWine.com is where you can catch up on a lot of these really fun wine picks, wine reviews, and pairings as we move through a lot of these wines tonight. Tonight, I am here with Dusted Valley Vintners. These guys made a huge kick up tonight at the Washington Wine Trade.
Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Braunel. I'm the co-owner, co-winemaker at Dusted Valley in Boomtown in Walla Walla, Washington. It's a town so nice they named it twice. Also a Wisconsin native, grew up in north central Wisconsin.
Which is why we have pals.
Yeah,
right?
This is exactly right. So happy to be here tonight with Leslie talking about our wines and Washington State wines in general.
Absolutely. So as you know, I'm a Pacific Northwest gal. Love, love, love the Syrahs, Cabernets, big unctuous reds that are coming out of the Pacific Northwest. At the same time, I'm a huge fan of Pinot Gris. Big, round, juicy fruits, but at the same time, this beautiful minerality to Pinot Gris. Let's talk a little bit about your Boomtown line.
Absolutely. So, like Leslie just mentioned, our Boomtown line is our entry-level lineup. The Boomtown wines, we do a Pinot Gris, which Leslie has in the glass here. We also have our Chardonnay. We do a Cabernet Sauvignon. We also have a Syrah and a Merlot. So this is our entry-level line, as I mentioned. These are more value-driven wines. The whole idea that Chad and I came up with, my brother-in-law, who's my co-owner, co-winemaker, and partner, is that we wanted to create a value-oriented vintage and varietal program from Washington State, something that was family-owned but showcased the varietal character of Washington State wines and bringing that value to the consumer. So these are going to be an average retail, Leslie, about $15.
Perfect. I think a great value, bang for your buck kind of wine. All of these really nice, varietally correct, so you really do taste that sort of roundness of the Merlot, the structure of the Cab, and of course those beautiful blue fruits of the Syrah. The Pinot Gris that I have in my glass right now, average price point on the shelf?
Yeah, about $15.
Oh man, $15 on the shelf. Round, really nice white flower to it, kind of some round melon peel to it at the same time. It fills your mouth up really gorgeously. I think it would go with kind of a nice sort of subtle mac and cheese. What do you think?
Yeah, you say the cheese, the mac and cheese component. I actually just was eating lunch here earlier today at Stella's, and I had the Parmesan crusted walleye, and I think that this Pinot Gris would go fantastically well with the Parmesan crusted walleye. And I also think because of the juicy, sweet mid-palate fruit that's there, even though it's a dry wine, because it has that kind of lush fruit characteristic, it can handle a little spice.
I agree. Yeah. Some nice, a little scent of maybe some Thai food would go really nice with this. I agree,
yeah.
And what about like as an overall sort of like big bang picture for the Syrah, the Merlot, the Cabernet? Can you come up with some quintessential pairings to go along with those?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that the Boomtown Reds, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Syrah, and the Merlot have the potential to go very, very well with, of course, our this time of year we always are looking at the slow cooker in the upper Midwest.
The hot pot.
The hot pot, the crock pot, the crock pot.
Right.
So these are definitely meaningful wines. They're very approachable. You'll be able to enjoy these with pizza. They're to intense steak. So I think they're very versatile wines, and that's very approachable. They have this nice balance of fruit and acid, which is always a very strong component in food and wine pairing.
Absolutely. So moving on to the Dusted Valley line, give me sort of the structure as what was your passion behind starting the winery? What was it about Washington as a whole that made you fall in love?
Well, Chad and I are both Wisconsin natives. I'm a farm kid from north central Wisconsin. Grew up with my hands in the dirt and did not grow up drinking fine wine. But after graduating college and getting onto the corporate ladder, we ended up in Napa and Sonoma and kind of got hooked, if you will, with the wine culture. And what a perfect place to really pair agriculture and this whole idea of all of our corporate background in terms of marketing and sales. So, it's a fully integrated business, and it's just a great lifestyle that we embraced 9 years ago. So the Dusted Valley was basically our dream, and Dusted Valley started out in 2003 with 750 cases, and today it's about a 4,000 case brand. This is what we do call our boutique, estate, vineyard-driven brand. We do incorporate Wisconsin and Minnesota oak into this program, Leslie, as well. So we are very proud of our upper Midwest roots, and really like to try to bridge the two together as much as possible.
I totally agree with the Pacific Northwest, and especially of Washington. When you go there, you feel like the people are very much a community. People are there trying to help each other in this industry and really making it grow. Today we saw that wholeheartedly with Washington wine growers. They were there to tell their story. They were there to share with each other. I saw other winemakers at other tables. I mean, people are here. It always gives me goosebumps to talk about the Pac Northwest, just because people do share that passion that that you get really in the United States. So you can sit down at a barbecue or even share over a bratwurst and feel like, hey, I can share my wines with you.
I would agree. Our wines are very, very approachable, but yet also very, very serious.
Yes.
They can be placed against some of the most serious wines in the world. But at the end of the day, it is that really approachable of the wines and the approachability of the people that make the wines that makes the Pacific Northwest and Washington State something that's really unique and interesting.
Yep.
Today, I mean, most of the people you met today were winemakers. They're owner winemakers, and so they have a lot of passion. They're very invested and very excited to be here with us.
And they love Minnesota because we give this Minnesota a nice feeling, right?
Well, Minnesota's a progressive market. I mean, there's a lot of things happening here. People are really open to change and checking out new and different things. So I think this creates an excellent opportunity for Minnesotans to be exposed to, a whole new area of the wine industry.
Absolutely. It's no longer flyover country. People are here to soak it all up. So as we kind of talk about some of these wines here, what we have here in our glass is the Malbec. Malbec, of course, we know it so much right now because of South America. It's really making this big push in South America. It's big, blue, juicy fruited in South America. Of course, when you look at it from a Bordeaux perspective or a French perspective, it has this sort of dirty, meaty minerality to it. There's a little smidge of another varietal in here, right?
A little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon.
A little bit of Cab.
Yeah, about 9%. Mm-hmm. This is a combination of two vineyards. It's a combination of our estate vineyard in Walla Walla called Birch Creek, as well as a vineyard that's becoming a very famous vineyard in Washington State, Stone Tree Vineyard on the Waluki Slope. The Stone Tree Vineyard is very, very shallow soils, in most cases 2 feet or less over fractured basalt and a layer of caliche. So the roots are getting into the broken basalt very early in the plant's life, and it really lends a beautiful minerality to the wines. And the site is very warm, so you tend to have a very generous, fruit-forward style wine that comes up from that vineyard. That blended along with our estate vineyard in Walla Walla gives you that nice, slightly earthy element to the wine as well.
I think that it actually has sort of that dustiness to it, that sort of raw meat underneath here. The Malbec speaks volumes. It has that lilac, blue fruit, Marionberry feel to it. You only say Marionberry for the Pacific Northwest.
That's right.
Everybody else has no idea what we're talking about. But it has that sort of blue fruited style to it. But the structure here is really deep. It's concentrated. I think that it's full, it's rich. You give this a nice flesh decant, and I think this just becomes sort of Marionberry pie.
No, it is. It's very, very, it has a lot of approachability. Right on the entry, the wine has a lot of approachability, but immediately you feel the structure and you experience the structure that gives the wine some support and really kind of a spine, if you will.
Yeah.
And that really allows it to hold up to a lot of foods. And, I think that that's one of the hallmarks or tenets of Washington that I'm most proud of and like to talk about. It's really, truly where old world meets new world.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 others that you have here in this line.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, Dusted Valley is our boutique estate-driven line, and we do a lot of small bottlings with the Dusted Valley lots. We have 2 major bottlings. It's the Dusted Valley Cab as well as the Stained Tooth Syrah. Those are our 2 major bottlings that make up about half of our production in the Dusted Valley. The rest of these are about 200 to 250 case slots. We have the Malbec. Today we have our BFM, which is our Merlot-based blend.
Which means
blow your freaking mind.
Okay, freaking mind. Right.
We got to keep it PG. And then we have the VR Special Cab, which is named after my brother-in-law Chad Johnson. His grandfather, Vernon Rhodes, who was from Chippewa Falls, where Chad grew up. So we got a picture of Chad as a baby on the back there. So a lot of good story there. And then we have something that's been a real crowd pleaser today is our Petite Syrah. Not a lot of Petite Syrah coming out of the Pacific Northwest, but I think it lends to the credibility of what Washington is capable of.
Absolutely.
Oregon, where Leslee came from here most recently, is really known for Pinot Noir on the red side. Chardonnay, Pinot Gris on the white side. And people always ask me when I'm out in the market is, what's Washington going to be known for? And I've really struggled with that because we can't pin a variety in Washington.
Okay, yep.
So I've just come up with the line that we're going to be known for a variety of great things.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
It is one thing when you really study wine from a textbook perspective. People say, well, what is Washington known for? They're good at so many varietals. The whites, obviously. Washington Riesling is gorgeous. You look at Merlot, you look at Syrah, Cabernet, and Petit Syrah. I will tell you this Petit Syrah was just a mouthful. And again, could use a really nice soft decantation. I think a nice peppered steak, all the way down to some dark chocolate. Maybe even smoked black chocolate would be great. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
Name one good Wisconsin food and one good amazing pairing that would be just blow your freaking mind in in your portfolio as a whole.
Yeah. Well, having being a Wisconsin kid, my mind just runs amok with all of the different things from sausages to Friday night fish fries to all of these things that we grew up on.
Yeah.
Cheese. So I think that the Wisconsin food or Minnesota food that we grew up on is very, very approachable with a lot of these wines. And let's take a stab at it. Hey, let's pair it with fish fry. Let's go Pinot Gris with fish fry. I think you're going to have a great time and an enjoyable meal.
What about a bratwurst?
Oh, bratwurst? I'm going to go Malbec. Let's go Malbec with the bratwurst today. Why not?
Love it.
Oh, thanks, Leslie.
Thank you so
bet.
much.
Take care.
Cheers to you.
Yeah.
Cheers to your wines, beautiful wines. Thanks for sharing tonight.
Thank you.
And drink more Washington wine. Thanks for joining.